It is not unusual for politicians to cry foul of electoral malpractices after elections in Nigeria. As such, the court being the last resort is usually saddled with the responsibility of giving a verdict based on the arguments of both the plaintiff and the defendants. So it did not come as a surprise when on the 14th of January, a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court led by Chief Justice Tanko Muhammad gave the unanimous decision which nullified the election of Emeka Yadewa of the People's Democratic Party as the governor of Imo State. The Apex Court thereafter declared Hope Uzodinma of the All Progressive Congress, who originally came forth in the election as the winner of the March 9th governorship election in the state. With the judgment, most Nigerians are still yet to come to terms about the basis upon which the Supreme Court arrived at its decision, bearing in mind that Uzodinma, who came forth in the March 9, 2019 governorship election with just 6,458 votes, will unseat Yadewa, who scored 276,404 votes. The development has since led to protests in many parts of the country, with the leadership of the PDP leading one in Abuja. Reacting to this, a renowned legal expert, Femi Aborishade, said whether right or wrong, whatever the Apex Court says is final.
Whatever the court says, rightly or wrongly, is final. And the late Justice Opota put it this way, that the decisions of the Apex Court are final, not because they are perfect, not because the justices of the Supreme Court are perfect, but because the Apex Court is the final court.
Aborishade, however, alleged that the executive has usurped the powers of the judiciary to its own advantage.
Of course, the National Assembly leaderships have declared that anything Mr. President wants is good enough for Nigeria. So in other words, the executive has succeeded in usurping the powers of the National Assembly, the powers of the judiciary, such that what we are witnessing, what we are experiencing in this country today, is not democracy, it is totalitarianism, arbitrariness, tyranny. Because there ought not to be a higher authority apart from the pronouncement of our courts.
On his own part, a lawyer, Adewale Salau, noted that although the Supreme Court's ruling is final, yet a review of the judgment is needed for future reference.
The numbers of the accredited voters were reduced to that of the numbers of the total vote that were gotten at the end of the day. So if the Supreme Court will do it well, the Supreme Court should review that decision, which I know may not be practically, it will not be. I can't say it's impossible, but it's something they can do. But based on previous event and precedents, we see that the Supreme Court is always reluctant in reversing itself. Most especially when it comes to controversial matters like this.
The court is seen as the hope of common man, but when the hope does not reflect justice, then there is more to be desired. Oluwaseun Oyebade, IHTV News.